Hi everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. I made a disc-bound planner for my mother and the process took a few days, around 5 or 6 days. And I did change the covers and the discs a couple of times. Here is the cover and the discs that I decided on when I was starting. These are frosted plastic discs that are 1.5 inches in diameter. I bought these some time ago. I will link the shop in the description box. The covers also came from the same seller. This is the A5, but it is much wider, and I like it because it can accommodate the tabs. And I have one ream of A4 sized 100 GSM paper, and I just cut a thick stack of those down in half to make A5 sheets that I can print on. Eventually, I found that those plastic discs were not so easy to use. The pages did not turn easily on them, so I went to my stash and I found some silver metal discs that I bought months ago, but they were smaller because they were 1.25 inches in diameter. But I used them anyway because they were easier to turn. Eventually, I decided on a plant theme for the entire planner. My mother has been a landscape artist and a gardener for as long as I can remember. Even when I was just a little girl, I have seen her transform yards into beautiful gardens. The dividers also used photos downloaded from Unsplash, and everything has been printed on the 100 GSM paper, the same one that I used for the actual planner pages. However, after making, printing, and hole punching all of the pages and dividers and then putting them in the discs, and after fiddling around with the contents, I decided that the 1.25-inch discs will not be enough. My mother would need larger discs for this planner. And don't worry, I will show you the final setup of the planner towards the end of the video. But everything I have put in it so far at this point really filled up the 1.25-inch metal discs. So I knew that she definitely needed bigger discs. So I went back to my stash and I saw that I did have metal discs that are 1.5 inches in diameter, but I didn't have 8 discs of a single color. They were all of different colors. So I just picked out these discs, one silver, two blue, three gray, and two black. These are all metal discs, all 1.5 inches in diameter, and I just decided to print a different artwork for the cover that would make these discs look like they're making sense. Here is the artwork that I found also from Unsplash. It has more dominant blue and gray colors. To help make the cover sheet slightly stronger, I put a layer of self-laminating sheet over it. This is from Daiso, it's B5 size, and I already played around with this, so I have only one full sheet remaining, and that's okay because I only need it for the front of the page, not on the back. Before placing the laminating sheet over the printed paper, I went ahead and punched the paper with the photo, laid the self-laminating sheet over it, cut off the excess lamination using my paper trimmer, and then I used my single hole punch and a pair of scissors to punch out the holes because the Happy Planner punch cannot punch plastic. I have tried before, and it was a bit of a nightmare, and I am never doing that again. I took out the front cover and put the 1.5-inch metal discs on. And then I just went ahead and transferred the contents to that. On the smaller 1.25-inch silver discs, I was able to fit in the monthly and daily pages for November 2021, December 2021, and January 2022, and only the monthly pages for February 2022 to June of 2022. But because I already transferred to 1.5-inch discs, I was able to fit in the monthly pages for the rest of 2022, so my mother can do a lot of future planning on this planner, even without the daily pages. And the way the monthly pages are laid out, she has a quick view of the month on the front page, and she has these boxes for writing in whatever she wants. Maybe birthdays, a quote from the Bible because she does that, and maybe some affirmations because she also does that. And then on the next spread is a more detailed view of the month, and she can actually use this for scheduling already. And these are all of the monthly pages until the end of 2022. As for the daily pages, she was actually not sure if she needed a one page per day or something that occupies smaller spaces per day. Currently, she's using a bound planner that is outdated and she redated them herself, and she's using 2 pages per day, but she says she writes big only because there are no lines, no rule on the pages. So maybe 1 page per day would be okay for her for now. So that's what I made for the next 3 months. But anytime she decides to use another format, I will make those for her. But I believe the monthly pages, as is, will do. It's just the daily pages that will need to be adjusted and changed from time to time. And then after that, it was just a matter of putting the additional sheets onto their proper places on the discs. Aside from the actual planner pages, I was also able to put in a bunch of note paper. I made for her dot grid sheets, which was a suggestion from my sister, so our mother can try it out. My sister is herself a user of dot grid notebooks for her bullet journal. The latest notebook she's using is the one that I made for her under my brand, The Unplanned Life. And by the way, it looks like I'm pushing down on the Happy Planner punch using both hands, but actually I am not. My right hand is disabled and I cannot push down on it. It has no strength. I'm pushing down using only my left hand. And I'm using my right hand to make sure that the punch doesn't slip or slide across the table. I just feel more comfortable hole punching papers that way. I also put in some narrower sheets. I have a lot of these left over every time I make my daily planner pages for myself. I use them for lists and notes to myself, and I put in several sheets in this planner just in case my mother would need something like this. As you can see, everything finally fits inside these 1.5-inch discs, and now I can finally show you how the setup is inside this planner. This is the cover, which I put together on camera that you have seen. I also made a sheet which has her name and contact numbers, but I took it out for the video because that's confidential information. The first section here is for prayers. I can lay out her favorite prayers and she can place them here, or she can just write down whatever she wants here. And this grid sheet she can just transfer elsewhere for notes if she doesn't need it here. The next section is for health. She can write down here whatever her doctors want her to track. She can write her medication schedule, things like that. Next section is labeled garden for her landscaping jobs and nursery and her plants. Like I said, my mother has been a gardener and a landscape artist ever since I was a child. Plants and landscaping make her happy, and it's also one of her businesses. Next is a section for her real estate business. She has been a licensed real estate broker for several years now. I think almost a decade. And then we go to the sections for the calendar. Here is the section for November. Here is the month at a glance and the monthly spread for scheduling things. This is a page marker that she can transfer to any part of the planner, but I think she's going to need it more to mark the current page for the day. And the way the daily pages are paginated is the Monday is always on the right page, so that the weekends will always be together on the same spread as you can see here. And then she has an extra note page here, and then the Monday of the next week is on the right page again. Aside from having the advantage of seeing the weekend together in one glance, this kind of layout also allows her to take out the finished pages or the past pages out of this planner per week, so she won't have to bring them around if she doesn't want to bring them around. And then here is this section for December. Just like November, this also has the month at a glance, the monthly spread, and the daily pages. And there's the same thing for the January section. Starting on February 2022, only the month at a glance and the monthly pages and an extra note paper are in this planner. And that's the same for the rest of the months until the end of 2022. I will make for her the daily pages for these months when she has already decided what daily page format she wants. And she actually doesn't have to decide for the entire 2022. She can decide every month or every couple of months or every week or whatever, depending on what she realizes she needs. It will be easy for me to make them for her. The last section with the divider for the calendar sections is October, but in this section I also placed the November and the December monthly pages for 2022, but the dividers aren't on here because the dividers for November and December are already being used for November and December 2021. She can just transfer them to here for 2022 once those pages for 2021 are already used up. The next section is for finances. Then she has a section for house, although I don't really know what she needs to put in here because she doesn't really have to do anything for her two houses herself. She has people on her staff to do the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, people to take care of the gardens and the dogs, people to drive her around in case my father is not available to drive her. Maybe she can use this section to write down notes about her household staff, something like that. Here is a section for reference, and I made a little clear folder for this one where she can stick some loose sheets of paper if she doesn't want to paste them to an actual blank sheet of paper that's already hole punched. And the final section here is labeled notes, and it has all of the blank note papers I made for her, the grid, the dot grid, the half sheets, and the blank papers. And here's the back cover, which has a pen loop. I did not make or print any artwork for the back pages anymore. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll make one in the future. And then I stuck a pencil in the pen loop for now, but she has her own pens that she prefers. I think I put in too much note paper on here, but she can take out some of these, especially when she already has her daily pages for the other months that she wants to put in here. And that's what I really love about the discbound system. We're free to take out and put in papers as we need them. I also made for her two other notebooks to use in conjunction with her main planner. This one is made from an old clear book that I just cut up the cover of and some white plastic discs. This is where she can put past pages, like planner pages that are already used up but which she doesn't want to throw away yet. Another one I made is a notebook for future pages. This has clear plastic discs that are slightly smaller, just so she can easily identify in one glance which is which. In this one, there is this cover, the one that I first made but didn't match the blue and gray discs that are now in use in the main planner. There are also some leftover tabs in here that I made. She might like to use them. Here is a tab for family, but she might not need it because she might use the house section for family instead. I don't really know. And then just some dashboards that I made and she can use as a divider once she puts a tab on there. And that's a disc-bound planner system that I made for my mother. I will make inserts for her as she needs them. This planner doesn't have a closure, but she said she doesn't need a closure. She can put the planner in her bag like this or like this. Either way, the tabs are going to be protected because the covers are so wide and so thick and so rigid. I think the discs actually look so pretty arranged this way in like a gradient sort of order instead of alternating colors, which I have seen a lot of other people do. I have already given her everything by the time I'm editing this video, and I have already taught her how to take out pages and how to put in pages. She really likes it. She wants to have a photo shoot of her actual plants sometime soon, so that when I make her final dividers with her final sections on actual photo paper, her own plants will be the star of the setup. And that is a disc-bound planner that I made for my mother. Everything on here is DIY'd by me. The only things that are store-bought are the covers and the discs, of course. Everything else is made by me. If you're making disc-bound planners for yourself, those are all that you need to buy to start with. And of course, paper. Everything else you can cobble together. I hope you were able to get some useful ideas in this video on how to create your own disc-bound planner from scratch. Thanks for watching. Bye!